Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. You know, many of the times when I put a monologue about cricket, many of you will say gently, sometimes, to my face, you are not a cricketer, you have no business talking about cricket. Well, I thought, why not bring in somebody who has been covering cricket for a long time as a part of his profession, and we're going to have a very interesting conversation about cricket and Olympics. Let's welcome Balakumar. Balakumar, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram. My pleasure as ever.
So, Bala and I, we're going to be talking about what is going to happen when India is going to play cricket in Olympics. I believe the next Olympics it's up, right?
Yes.
So, what happens is, before sport comes into the Olympics, we have to pass through a few things. For the longest time, India was not asking its players to submit to WADA, that is World Anti-Doping Agency requirements. For example, you have to give your urine sample at some predetermined times. There are some procedures involved, processes involved. And India wasn't doing that. And now with India wanting to, or India going to be playing in the Olympic, this becomes mandatory. And some channels, I'm not saying all, this is just a rumor in the social media. Some are saying that, again, not all, some are saying that there is widespread drug infestation in the sports people. It doesn't matter which sport you are playing. And this could be recreational drugs, it could be performance enhancing drugs, it could be anything that normal persons won't do. The point about this is, if you remember, for example, 𝗟𝗏𝗄𝗏, he was docked for a few series, I think, because he had Benadryl. Yeah, they found that Benadryl, okay, he was taking it as a cough medicine. I thought it was absurd that you would bench a guy who was, just coming out as an opener, he was doing very well. And they said, okay, this guy was docked for having drugs in his system. That I thought was outlandish. But now what happens with WADA is, everybody has to submit their urine samples, among other things, for testing. And if you don't pass, then you don't get to play. So this is the WADA fact. On the other side, two retirements have stirred the controversy that maybe Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli did not want to submit to this. That's why they chose retirement. Now, many of you say, wait a minute, they have not exactly been performing very consistently at the top, especially in the test level. So I'm going to ask Bala the question. Do you think there is any connection here?
I mean, to put it bluntly, I don't think there is a connection. It's a slightly very outlandish thing because, see, there are two great cricketers who have served Indian cricket for long.
But Rohit ran on talent for a long time. Even
Rohit and Virat Kohli, I mean, for all of
Virat was a performer right from the beginning. But if you look at Rohit, right, the first test matches...
I mean, he took his time to get, get into the top league, but he's a clear talent. And both have served Indian cricket very well. And this rumor that they might have retired out of Test cricket and T20, they are still part of the ODI scheme of things. So, for fear of getting found out by WADA, that is a very outlandish charge. And frankly, it is too, if I may use the word silly, because for the simple reason, these are all professional guys. And cricket is not going to enter Olympics for the first time. It was part of Olympics in 1900. The first Olympic...
But WADA was not there.
WADA was not there. 1900, France was the champion, incidentally.
Oh, really?
Not even Great Britain.
I didn't even know that.
I think there were only 4 teams participating, and Great Britain didn't win the gold. France won the gold medal, which is one of those interesting trivias of Olympics. That's, 1900. So, far beyond of our imagination. But the talk of cricket entering this Olympic sport, it was part of this Commonwealth Games sometime in the 1900s or 2000, early 2000s. It's happened in Malaysia. So I think Australia won the gold medal. So India sent a team, Pakistan was there. So all these Commonwealth countries were there. So for fear of getting found out by WADA, Rohit or Kohli getting out of India, doesn't merit an answer at all, in the sense that is certainly not. I'm not saying these guys may, not just Rohit or many of these guys may not be, I'm not saying they have never used performance enhancing drugs. They might have, but they have this See, cricket has its own set of medicines. These days, very professionally, they are being monitored. I'm not saying there is no controversy, there may not be, because we had a case in tennis where the world's best player, Yannick, is a sinner, got found out and he got banned only for 2 or 3 months. And that too between 2 tournaments, between Australian Open and French Open, which was not...
It is like hunger strike between breakfast and
lunch. I mean, you were talking about that in Tamil Nadu where Karnataka famously did that. I mean, we are digressing as ever. But so this is certain performance enhancing drugs, usage of that in international sport is a thing which we cannot run away from. That is a fact. Even something much more international.
Armstrong.
That was Tour de France. Certainly, and the Olympics is riddled with such cases.
Of course.
Especially athletics. We had the great case of Ben Johnson in Seoul Olympics 1988. He used stanozolol, very specifically stanozolol, because we were watching it on TV and we were stunned by I think it was 9.58 or 9.69. That was the time that he ran, which was unheard of at that time. It was stunning. But 3 days later, he was found out. And Carl Lewis was made as gold medal champion. I mean, so performance enhancing drugs, usage of drugs is certainly an issue that is facing international sports. But these cricketers getting caught in that is still far away from that. Most of these cricketers don't look that fit at all. Actually, I mean, Kohli was certainly fit. Rohit wasn't. He was.
Yeah. I commented on that after the debacle in 2023, I think.
But cricket's need is very different. I mean, one need not be very fit. We had the great 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. I mean, he didn't look a sports person, but give him a bat and ask him to face the West Indian fast bowlers. You had real poetry on motion. So the need of cricket is something else. But there is, I mean, another thing is the rampant use of other kind of drug is certainly there. We certainly saw it during the IPL. During the IPL, there are a lot of such issues. One of the big names, 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗧𝘅 𝗍𝗏𝗏, got caught. He was sent back home to South Africa. He was playing for Gujarat Titans. Of course, he served time and came back. But that is, then again, that is the real issue. But what they do with these are all multi-millionaires. This usage of drug among the rich and spoiled, that has always been the case. You will see it in Hollywood, you will see it in Bollywood. And the other side of Bollywood is Indian cricket. So, I mean, I can get all moral and say it is wrong. But in the society itself, it is, especially in Tamil Nadu, we have a lot of cases. Drug usage has gone up. So I really don't want to get all morally angsty and say this is wrong. It is certainly wrong. I wouldn't want anyone to use these kind of drugs. But people are using it. So we have to go at the next step. So we have to, prevent that. I mean, the real issue is how to stop these kind of drugs being so easily available. That is the thing that I'll be really interested in. Because with money and free time, these guys will get into, and that is in the very nature of human beings. These kind of things come into them. That is one side story of international sport. Which sport is away from usage of drug?
Nothing.
Both recreational as well as no sport is away from it. That is the hard truth.
Yes, very true, very true. So what you're saying is Rohit and Virat were just not performing at the highest level and hence they were dropped.
Yes. It's pure cricketing. There will be politics, obviously, when two of the big names. See, there will be reasons for money in terms of sponsorship and other things. But otherwise, let's face it, they have passed their sell-by date. They are at the fag end of their international career. They have served the Indian cricket, to the best of their potential. Now it is the time for the youngsters to say, they are not getting any younger. They are not spring chickens. To use the often used cliche, they are not spring chickens. Well past 35, other side of 35. When you are other side of the 35, all sports will ask this question of fitness and other things. And the body wouldn't respond.
Would you say the same thing of Ravichandran Ashwin also?
Yes, certainly. Ashwin, he had reasons to be unhappy with the cricketing setup as it was happening. He may not have been the way he went out certainly left a look. He triggered a lot of questions because a great cricketer like him one didn't find it very natural for him to walk away from an international tour halfway. So that clearly said things were not right, especially in the dressing room. But then again, when you have a lot of people with strong personalities, there will be exchange of ideas, exchange of words, exchange of everything. So the things were not all right when he walked out. But then again, it was all cricketing reasons. Cricketing reasons in the sense he was dropped and he was not happy. I mean, from outside, I don't have an insight to what really happened. From outside, all I can say is he was frustrated from being repeatedly dropped despite proving himself several times. That's one of those things. See, there are only 11 slots to be filled and you have so many claimants for that. Even in this particular, last season, even to take the team that has been picked for that.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 didn't play.
𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, there is a clamor for 𝗟𝗏𝙤𝗪 Iyer not being.
This is now.
So,
Asia Cup.
See, Asia Cup. So, that will always be there. See, there are only, if you are going on a tour, there will be 16 slots. If you are in India, there will be 12 or 14 maximum. So, but your claimants will be around 40 or 50. So, you can't pick a team and satisfy everybody, both outside as well as people who are left out. Ashwin had reasons to be unhappy because that is not the way to treat a certified legend. He is the second highest wicket taker for India ever after Anil Kumble.
Yes.
So he needs to, if you are going to drop him even on pitches which were expected to help spin, he needs an answer. So probably he didn't get the answer. So rather than being shunted out, he walked out.
I think he was pretty blunt. He just said that I was promised I'll be played for all the 5 tests and then he was going to retire.
I don't know whether he said in as many words.
I thought so.
Okay. He didn't say you can read a lot between the lines because he's a past master in putting things between the lines.
I see.
He knows how to deliver messages and the message that you said was certainly there between those lines. At the end of the day, forget about him being saying that. We all felt that he could have been treated in a better manner or, see, no player can be guaranteed. At least if the communication channels were open and clear and transparent, I'm fine with it. I'm not saying Ashwin should have been picked, but I really don't know what was said before and what really happened after.
True.
So if he was miffed, and somebody like Ashwin, who is otherwise known to be a very sane character, he doesn't lose his equipoise. So if he comes out and walks out of entertainment and calls it a day from international cricket, something drastic would have happened. But at the end of the day, he didn't create a huge fuss. He walked out, which was not very nice. But he also kept his dignity.
Too.
He made a statement by walking out, but otherwise he kept his dignity by not using so many words.
Correct. Well, these things happen. It was 38, so it wasn't like...
exactly.
Unfortunate that one bad series against New Zealand where India lost 0-3, I think that sort of squared the pitch a little bit.
Exactly. That kind of had a domino effect during India's trip to Australia, where things just went haywire. We lost 1-3. The 1-3 was, as a scoreline, for eventual scoreline was actually very flattering to India because we were much worse than that.
Correct.
Because take the next series against England, though we technically drew it 2-2, we were certainly the moral victors there.
Yeah.
And everybody was very clear if it had happened 1-3, which one shot could have still won back.
Right.
So, but 1-3 would have been totally lopsided. That did not really reflect the actual happenings in the series. So, but the 1-3 loss in Australia was much worse because none of the batsmen really got going and none of the bowlers except Bumrah. When I say it, see, Bumrah was an exception.
But then Bumrah is also, he's not in the same league as Ashwin in terms of, being man of the series back to back. At least one fifer in every series he played. That's what I think he did not get in that New Zealand series. What I'm trying to say is, this is my observation. The yardstick is very high for Ashwin.
That's a good point. Very good point. Good, sorry.
And for the others, somehow that's why I kind of pulled your leg a little bit saying that Rohit had a lot of chances, like he has talent. They persisted with him for a long time. Played at number 6 and this. Finally, they couldn't give up any excuses. They said, okay, you open, if you perform, otherwise you perish. And then that's where he found his slot. So don't you think that the yardstick was a little steep on him?
Yes, but the yardstick for every cricketer kind of makes the yardstick for himself. That how it happens.
So are you saying that he was too successful for his own
Exactly. I mean, in a sense, these things
he's got 500 wickets and he's won
exactly.
so many
Because
matches.
you expect him to be. I mean, when you throw the ball to Ashwin, you expect a wicket within the next 3 or 4 overs. And that is the kind of luxury that he gave, especially in subcontinent conditions. So
one series in Australia was fantastic.
Yeah,
before he got injured. In Australia.
In
2021,
which we won 2-1, the great 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗏 victory, and his bowling was very good, and his match-saving innings at Sydney, along with Hanuman Vihari, that was really, I mean, that kind of showed what kind of metal he was. I mean, what kind of metal he was made of, because he was strong mentally. I mean, just like Washington Sundar and Ravindra Jadeja played out almost a full day, Vihari and Ashwin played out more than half a day in Sydney. I mean, that was remarkable. And that kind of set the tone for the next match at 𝗥𝗚𝗏, which we won almost improbably. So Ashwin, I mean, getting back to Ashwin, the point is, he was so good that you kind of judge him. That was the problem with Sachin Tendulkar also. Because people, even to 1 or 2 failures, people will say, oh, Sachin Tendulkar. That is the cheapest shot in Indian media. True. Because the Times of India carried in front page Tendulkar. He got clean bowled. Okay, every cricketer goes through a phase. Tendulkar. And that happened in 2006 or 2007, that headline came. I mean, that was a part of a photo caption. After that, he proved some of his best innings were they happened after 2007. He came out with a vengeance and proved himself. Of course, after 2011, I think he should have retired after 2011. He kind of 100. I mean, you can't grudge him that. He deserved, some leeway. So he went on autopilot. Which is, the average didn't go below 50. As long as, that is the kind of benchmark that separates the good from the great. The great batsman always hovered above 50. So Tendulkar, no question. Who are we to discuss Tendulkar's greatness? He is certainly, and that is the same thing. Ashwin, the numbers, in terms of numbers, he was up there with Muthiah Muralidharan, Shane Warne and other people.
Yes.
So when you are bracketed with that, so even that one series, New Zealand series, it's very, if you look at the CV and ask to explain what happened there, everyone will find it difficult to explain. Of course, Ashwin, because that is the standard he set for himself, so he fell on his own petard.
Very true. But then, the irony is, what kind of a farewell did Sachin Tendulkar get? West Indies gets flown in for just playing one test match at his home ground. It's a big festival.
True.
And look how they treated Ashwin. He was certainly the best bowler on show at that point of time. I'm still reminded, few years before that, he was still hitting his peak. Goes to New Zealand, match after match, Jadeja is picked for his batting.
Then again,
I can let me finish the question.
Yeah, sorry.
Martin Crowe was the guy who was commenting that. Very astute player, very good student of the game. He said, in my 11, I would put Ashwin at either number 1 or number 2. And I'm aghast that he's not even playing a single test. How do you explain this? This is Dhoni. Dhoni is supposed to be a good friend of Ashwin, and he would... a captain can be a good friend of a player and still can pick somebody else. Yes. That's okay. If that happens, I'll be very happy because he's looking at larger picture. Right. I'll be very unhappy if Ashwin is not picked because I love Ashwin's game and everything. But sometimes you have to pick horses for the courses, and Jadeja in general is believed to be a better batsman. So he gives it your exact. I think Ashwin still had more centuries.
Jadeja
was a late bloomer as a batsman.
He is a better batsman, and as a fielder, no questions, no comparisons.
I think the fielding was the thing that was held against.
So everything as a package, it is very attractive because Ashwin, the kind of bowling, Ashwin can go for runs. It's not a crime to go for runs in tests, but he can. But when you need to bolt it up, Jadeja is the better bowler. Jadeja is also an equal legend. Sometimes we tend to overlook Jadeja's contribution. He was in tandem with Ashwin and Jadeja. I don't know why they are not being talked up as we talked up Venkataraghvan, Bishan Singh Bedi, Yerrapalli Prasanna and Chandrasekhar. Because these two gentlemen, they are as much as legends as those 4 were. No, and in terms of sheer numbers, they are certainly better than that.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, but
they played
statistics
more
not.
tests.
Yeah, they played more tests and conditions are different. I mean, let's not get into it. I'm not comparing them in terms of era, but I'm just making a point. They are as much legends as they were. So Jadeja also sometimes, because of Ashwin's effulgent performances, sometimes he gets overshadowed. But he is also as good as Ashwin. So when you got to pick only one spinner, the axe has to fall on one. And one person will always feel aggrieved. That is the very nature of the system that has kind of evolved. That is inevitable. Because in foreign conditions, you can play only one spinner. You needed pace bowlers. So that is one of those things. But these days things are changing. You're trying to experiment with two kind of spinners. The pitches are changing. Test matches in overseas condition. I'm not talking about Indian condition. They are Sunday. We played Washington Sundar and Jadeja. Of course, not for their bowling alone. We played them for the exact reasons that I'm saying, for their batting, and that is what actually saved us a test in England. So you can't. I mean, conspiracy theory is very attractive, but not always it needs to be true.
True. Well, I'll end with this statement though of 𝗏𝗙𝗘𝗏. 𝗏𝗏𝗘𝗏 asked for same question. You should be only playing one spinner in overseas conditions. He just asked a simple question. If you had two Tendulkars in a team, would you not pick them?
See, hypothetically, yeah, it's a good question, but there are no easy answers.
No, I cannot trap you because you said both are legends in their own right. They should have played together. Anyway, that's okay. What I am going to conclude this is the team that is going to represent India in the Olympics, hopefully, it's a drug-free team. Thanks for joining us today, and what a revelation this was. Truly honor and a lot of fun talking to you.
Same here.
Bala.
Same here. I mean, I can talk about sports because we grew up watching sports.
Yeah, we live, eat and breathe that stuff.
So happy talking about it.
Thank you so much. Namaskar. Namaskar.